Once again, thank you again for joining us. This is Francisco Ruiz with NASDAQ, the National Alliance of State and Territorial AIDS Directors, as well as your co-chair of NLAAN, the National Latino AIDS Action Network. Today's webinar is starting at 12 p.m. today. We're going to review some activities that are leading up to the International AIDS Conference, as well as activities that will be taking place during the International AIDS Conference. Next slide, please. So as we get started, I want to share with you a few webinar etiquette. Everyone right now is muted. At the end, we'll have a Q&A session for questions and answers. And at that point, you can press *7 to unmute yourself. And so we also have a blog feature on our webinar. If you have questions throughout the webinar, please feel free to include those via the chat feature. We will try to address them either throughout the webinar or at the end during the Q&A session. And lastly, we also will have an evaluation of this webinar, so we strongly urge folks to please complete that to make sure that we are capturing your ideas and strengthening these webinars in the future. Next slide. And so, as the slide shows, today's webinar is entitled Mobilizing Latino Hispanic Communities for the International AIDS Conference. And today's overview of the webinar includes several activities. And so we're going to go through each of them briefly, and we'll have an opportunity to ask more questions. And the programs that we'll be talking about today are the Embajadores, or Ambassadors Program, Community Volunteer Program, the Latino Hispanic HIV Community Research Forum, and Nuestra Noche de Acción, a reception at the International AIDS Conference. And then we'll have a Q&A and other activities related to NLAAN. I wanted to get started with everyone showing you a screenshot of a website that we are launching today on this webinar. If everyone goes to www.nlaan.org/AIDS2012, you will see the various activities that I will be presenting today, as well as the online application forms, as well as the PDF version of the online application forms. This website is also available in Spanish, and so every feature is available both in English and Spanish for the information. And so now going into our first program, the Embajadores Program, also known as Ambassadors Program. The Embajadores Program is a professional leadership development program of the National Latino AIDS Action Network, also known as NLAAN. That is designed to identify, mobilize, and support the next generation of Latino Hispanic leaders in the field of HIV and AIDS. With the support of the Office of AIDS Research at OER, the National Institutes of Health, and several partner organizations, the Embajadores Program will support the participation of 20 Latino Hispanic leaders at the upcoming International AIDS Conference to be held July 22nd to 28th in Washington, D.C. The program seeks to provide a platform for knowledge and culture exchange among Latino leaders with the aim of yielding long-term benefits, whether they promote best practices in the field of HIV/AIDS, promote local responses to HIV and AIDS, build national and international relationships, or enhance cultural understanding. The application process opens today, March 22nd, and closes Tuesday, April 10th. Briefly, the participants will receive several benefits. In addition to a round-trip ticket from their homes to Washington, D.C., participants will also receive 8 nights lodging at hotels selected by the conference organizers. They will also be receiving a full registration for the International AIDS Conference. They will be receiving per diem, standard at the federal travel regulations rates, which is standard per diem, for the 8 days, as well as there will be tailored on-site orientation trainings, daily debriefings with meeting leaders, as well as mentorship opportunities. Participants will be expected to do several things. They'll be required to assist with conference activities, help with the promotion of those activities leading up to the conference and at the conference. They will be also expected to attend sessions and workshops throughout the conference and prepare several written or video blogs showcasing features of the International AIDS Conference. all Embajadores programs will be participating in some webinars and conference call training leading up to the International AIDS Conference that will build their capacity of how to write successful blogs and or how to mobilize their communities in a timely fashion. They'll also be giving opportunities and trainings around engaging with media and using several social media networks to promote their blogs. Following the actual conference, in addition to that, they'll be also expected to organize a community event at their conference, after the conference, regarding what events they took place, that they had sessions they attended, and so all this will be they will receive training and assistance in developing those activities in their respective cities. So to apply for this Embajadores program, there's several activities. Our criteria that we're looking at, definitely looking at folks who have experience in HIV and AIDS, who've been working in that field for a couple of years, have bilingual capabilities. It would be preferred both English and Spanish, of Latino Hispanic background. Again, this is an effort to really mobilize next generations of Latino leaders, and so we're looking for folks who represent the community. They also must be current residents of the United States or Puerto Rico, and a minimum age of 18. And so again, for more information on this particular program and for the actual application, please go to www.nlaan.org/AIDS2012. The next program that I'm going to mention is the Community Volunteer Program. So similar to the Embajadores Program, the Community Volunteer Program will support participation of several Latinos in the United States, as well as the Caribbean. And so this initiative is looking to, again, increase the participation of Latino leaders, community leaders at the International AIDS Conference. And so the participants of this program will be expected to assist in several activities taking place at the International AIDS Conference. And so there will be activities that I'll mention later around the pre-conference. There's also some activities being organized around a global village. And so the participants of the Community Volunteer Program will be expected to serve as support staff for these various activities. And similar to the previous program, the application, the process begins today, March 22nd, and closes on Tuesday, April 10th. Similarly to the previous program, benefits include a round-trip ticket to D.C., lodging for 8 nights, the coverage of full registration for AIDS 2012 for the conference. They'll also be receiving a per diem rate for the meal allowance, as well as receive on-site training and opportunities for mentorship at the program, at the conference. Applications will be assessed on several items. Again, experience in HIV and AIDS, bilingual capability would be preferred with English and Spanish, Latino Hispanic background, residents of the United States, Puerto Rico, or U.S. Virgin Islands, availability for a minimum of 3 half-days to work at the International AIDS Conference. And the reason for that is that folks who volunteer will be expected to help us, again, throughout the conference, serve as support staff, and so we're asking for at least a minimum of 3 half-days to be able to assist with those projects. And similar to the previous program, a minimum age of 18. For more information, please check out www.NLAAN.org at AIDS 2012. And so the next 2 items that I'm going to share with you are kind of save-the-date items that we'll be sending out more information as they become available. The save-the-date for the Latino pre-conference and affiliate event, and the name is Before You Latino Hispanic HIV Community Research Forum, creando una red para un futuro sin VIH y SIDA. That will be taking place Saturday, July 21st, from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. So it is a full-day pre-conference focusing on U.S. Latino HIV epidemic. This forum will, as you see before you, focus on several items looking at prevention and research efforts, domestic prevention and research efforts, We'll look at efforts at fostering, we'll also provide an opportunity for fostering networking opportunities for folks who are of the community or serving the community around research, community service provision, or just, community leaders and mobilization in their respective cities. And then the other save the date is for a reception that will be taking place in the Noche de Acción. It will be a networking reception of the National Latino AIDS Action Network. That reception will be taking place July 24th from 7 to 9 at Cuba Libre, which is 2 or 3 blocks away from the actual convention center, so in walking distance from the activities taking place at the International AIDS Conference. This would be in collaboration with civil society in the United States, Latin America, and the Caribbean. The reception provide an opportunity for national and international stakeholders to coalesce around the conference theme of turning the tide together. Prominent leaders from various sectors, from the government, entertainment, and civil society, will be invited to lend their support to ending the HIV epidemic. At the reception, there will be several features, including a timeline, a display of Latino leaders, both past and present, of U.S., Latin America, and the Caribbean, as well as there will be a silent auction taking place that will help promote raise funds for our youth program focusing on Latinos and HIV youth who are working in the U.S. currently. And so now we're just going to go into, as I quickly went over some of the basic items of the activities being spearheaded through NLAAN. I wanted to open up for questions. Again, if you have any questions, please press *7 to ask.
Hi, Francisco. This is Jesse from
Minnesota. The conference has been unmuted.
Hey, Jesse. How you doing?
Good. Hey, Francisco, I was going to ask, how many spaces do you have available for these individuals to participate?
We are finalizing those numbers. Currently, I know we have 20 for the Embajadores Program, and we're still finalizing how many spaces we have for the Community Volunteer Program, but it probably will be around that number. So in the total, approximately about 40.
Great. Thank you.
Francisco, this is Brenda Cruz from Proceed. Hello.
How you doing, Brenda?
I'm doing good. I just wanted to ask, because regarding the scholarship, the Embajadores Program, one of the criteria was to be able to develop some kind of community activity after the conference. Can you provide an example, or what kind of events are these Embajadores expected to organize?
Yes. So, for example, it's similar to, and we're going to work with International AIDS Society, but similar to the concepts of a conference hub, which is where you host an activity in your respective city.
Yes.
That showcases maybe a theme or a topic that was talked about at the conference. Mm-hmm. And so we're very flexible. The idea is just to do something that you kind of share out what you learned at the conference and to help generate some energy and some ownership of the National HIV Strategy. And so the idea is just to do something in your community and it could be either, a panel discussion or if there's a video or something you want to show that kind of initiate the conversation. So, we'll be working with folks who are in the program to help develop that, identify, a timeline and budget and that kind of thing. We'll basically help with the kind of TA pieces. We won't be able to support any money to support the event. So that was something that you would have to host either with your organization or something like that. But there's different activities that folks could do at a very minimal cost or no cost at all.
Okay, so it doesn't have to be a hub, or it could be, or something similar too, because we actually are aware of the whole hub thing. But okay.
Yeah, it could be. It's very flexible. We'll work throughout building up to the conference. We'll have an exercise of identifying potential activities that folks can do. We'll help you guys, identify what is best for you.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. Any other questions? Emily, is there any questions being typed in? Sorry, I just got logged off the webinar.
One person asked what would be the process of selection and when will applicants be notified if they have been selected. Do you have a breakdown of geographic areas of selection?
We're going to be taking everything into consideration. In addition to the other criteria, we'll be also making sure that we have a distribution of folks in terms of geographic representation as well as population specific. So we want to definitely be inclusive of the transgender community, of Latinas, of youth, of gay men, and so we'll be having that in terms of looking at that as well. But the primary criteria is what I mentioned on the PowerPoint. In terms of a timeline, as I mentioned, the application opens today and closes April 10th, and then within 2 weeks we'll be reviewing all this application with a panel of Latino leaders who've been involved in other activities leading up to the International AIDS Conference. And so you should probably expect something around May if you were accepted. And then once you get accepted, we'll be working with you to do your logistical travel and that kind of thing. And then there will be a series of webinars and conference calls. So folks who get accepted will get a detailed kind of timeline in terms of scheduled calls, and et cetera.
Mm-hmm. Francisco, I had another question. This is Brenda Cruz again from Proceed.
Mm-hmm.
In a previous webinar, I don't know if it was last one or something prior to the last webinar, but one of the evaluation questions was for people to check off kind of like there was a list of different work groups that, we can check off if we're interested in participating. And I know one of them was a International AIDS Conference work group or something I recall that I personally checked off. Can you provide more information? Is something like that happening, or what are other ways that people can get involved outside of what you just mentioned here today?
What are other ways that folks can get involved in addition to the...
in connection with NLAAN or any other activities, either coordination of or just, right. I don't know. Mm-hmm.
We're going to be hosting a conference call this coming month that will go in detail again to some of these activities and ways folks can get involved in the process. In terms of, in particular, what we're looking right now is the reception that we're trying to host, that we're going to be hosting on Tuesday, July 24th. So we're going to be asking folks who are interested in helping organize that. There's obviously a lot of logistical stuff that needs to take place to host the reception, and so we'll be reaching out to folks and sending out a communication. So if you're not already receiving emails, I imagine folks are if you're on the webinar, but if you're not, please email nlan411@gmail.com so that you get information regarding the upcoming calls as well as the actual work group around the International Conference activities.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Are there any questions? Again, more information is available on the website as well as the actual application. We made the application completed online, or you could also download a PDF and submit it, either fax it or send it through post regular mail.
Francisco, I don't know if you saw this, but somebody asked about the Latino Caribbean Diaspora Collaborative that's coming soon.
What was that? I'm sorry, I'm not able to see that as a webinar. So what was the question?
Celia requested that you mention the Latino Caribbean Diaspora Collaborative that's coming soon.
Yes, so we did. I think I might have mentioned briefly, but there is an activity that is going to be taking place, hopefully, fingers crossed, in the Global Village. So as you know, there was an opportunity to apply for a networking zone in the International AIDS Conference at the Global Village. And so NLAAN, in collaboration with several NGOs in Latin America and the Caribbean formed a Latin American Diaspora Coalition. And that group submitted an application that would include different activities that would be taking place at the Global Village, in the Global Village. So folks who haven't attended International AIDS Conference before, the Global Village is part of the conference, but it's really a separate piece of the conference that is free. And so folks who, anyone from the community could go through the Global Village activities. Oftentimes there will be screenings of the actual plenary sessions that are taking place in the main conference, but there will also be different activities, cultural activities that will be taking place. And so NLAAN, in partnership with other organizations in Latin America and the Caribbean, will be hosting several activities in the Global Village. And so as that information becomes available, we'll be forwarding that as well. And there's opportunity for folks who are interested to get involved to help support some of those activities. And once more information becomes available, all this information, including the Global Village activities that we proposed, will be included on the website, which is www.nlaan.org/82012.
Antonio Martinez asked what factors would the selected candidates for the Ambassadors Program ideally have?
I'm sorry, say it again.
What factors would the selected candidates for the Ambassadors Program ideally have?
So for the Embajadores Program, there's several things that we'll be looking at. One would be your experience working in the field of HIV and AIDS. There's also several short essay questions that we'll be asking folks to complete in terms of where you're hoping your participation will, how would that promote the work that you're doing in your respective jurisdictions and cities. And so there's a series of questions for both the Embajadores Program as well as the community program, so that the reviewers really could see, in addition to your expertise, what you're hoping to gain from this experience. And so the idea really is to make sure that the International AIDS Conference has a lasting impact and that really promotes the action-oriented activities that we need to see to really address the epidemic, particularly among Latino communities around the country. So, there's obviously your experience in HIV and AIDS, that you reside in the U.S., that you are at least 18 years old, that you are of Latino Hispanic descent, and that the bilingual capabilities is something that we're preferring. Obviously, it won't necessarily be a deterrent if you can type Spanish.
Do you have to submit separate applications for those programs?
Unfortunately, you do, and again, some of the main parts of the applications are similar, so they should be easy to complete. There's I think 3 or 4 short answer questions that we have under the Community Volunteer Program, and the Embajadores Program has 2 or 3 separate questions as well. But you do have to submit separate applications. And so upon acceptance, we'll let you know what program you would be accepted to. You can only be accepted to one, so I'm not sure if I mentioned that before. Any other questions? All right. Well, not hearing any other questions. Again, please feel free to check out the website. It is www.nlaan.org/82012. If you have any questions in particular regarding these programs, feel free to email AIDS2012 at s-3.com. So again, if you have any questions and you want to get some more clarification, please email AIDS2012 at s-3.com, or feel free to also call Celia Argueta at 301-628-3180. And that number again is 301-628-3180. Again, all this information is made available on our website that we're launching today at www.nlaan.org/82012. Following this webinar, you'll be asked to complete a short evaluation, and upon completing that, you'll be receiving the PowerPoint flash for this webinar. So thanks again, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you. Please stand by.